Good morning, cyber people. My name is Gavin Rook, and today we're going to be showing you guys how to install a virtual machine onto your personal computer. This video will require you to download some software. As you can see here, I'm using something called VMWare Fusion. It's just a piece of software specifically for Mac that will let you do virtual machines on your Mac. If you're running a Windows, you can download the version just called VMware. It usually has a workstation at the end of that, so VMware Workstation. You can also download a free version called VirtualBox. And Oracle does run this, but if you just search for Oracle Box on the internet, you should be able to find the right site to download that from. Now, if you're kind of unsure about what virtualization does, it's basically just being able to run a computer inside of your computer. This is especially helpful for businesses because some businesses will have one or two servers that have a lot of hardware on them, or in other words, that have really high capacities for RAM, processing power, and just really big hard drives, and they will run multiple servers on they will run multiple operating systems or computers on one server. So this is especially helpful for businesses because it will cost them a lot less for buying hardware. So, but for today's example, it's really just for testing out other things. And you can see I have a Windows machine, I have a Kali machine, I have a machine specifically for 325, which is a very fun class to take. GNS3 is something that is kind of like Packet Tracer. It's just a free version for it. So I do have a lot of virtual machines. But today, as you're following along on whichever software you have, it should be the exact same concepts. So whether you're on VirtualBox or VMware Workstation, the concepts for optimizing your hardware and picking a virtual machine from a specific file should be similar. The interface is not going to be the same, but let's just go ahead and dive right into it. So to start on VMware Fusion, we're going to click this little plus button up here. We're going to do New, Install from Disk or Image, and I'm going to go here, use another disk or image. I'm going to pick Fedora Live Desktop 20. And now what you're thinking, Gavin, Fedora 20 is like super old. Why are you using that one? And I'm just using it because it's on my machine. I didn't have to spend a lot of time downloading anything else, so that's why. So if you didn't really follow along with that one, you can see here it has a summary of what the machine is going to be defaulting to. So it defaults to 20 gigs of for the hard disk, 2 gigs of RAM, and it's sharing the IP address with my Mac. So we're just going to go ahead and customize settings. But before we do that, we have to name it. So I'm going to call this one Test for Video. Do Save. And now it's going to tell us to optimize some things. So before I do anything else, I'm going to go into processors and memory. I'm going to give this 2 cores, since my Mac has a lot of processing power. I'm going to give it 5,000 megabytes of RAM. And you should be doing this depending on how much on what your hardware is on your computer. For instance, my Mac, I'll just show you guys what my Mac has. So I currently have 16 gigs of RAM, I have a 2.9 gigahertz processor, and for the hard disk, you can see I have about 100 gigs left. So allotting another 20 gigs of a hard drive isn't a big deal, but you'll have to think of that and kind of tailor it to whatever your device has. So I'm going to go back and we're going to change the hard disk. I'm just going to give it 25 gigs for kicks and giggles. Apply. We're going to go back. Like I said earlier, it's just going to share the same IP address with my Mac. Display, I'm just going to use full resolution just because I don't like to have a tiny screen. And that should be it. So we're going to go back out. We're going to click Start. So now this is basically, you're going to see this boot up just like a normal machine. If you've never seen Linux boot up, then this will be different for you. So right here, we're just going to start the live. I just clicked on it and I'm going to click Enter. Sometimes my mouse gets kind of stuck, so I have to like go back and forth. Bring my mouse back. There we go. So this should be starting up. So I'm going to actually cut the video and bring it back to when we're up to the normal spots. Alright, so we have gotten to the very first part of the install for this. So now this is Fedora is asking us, do you just want to try Fedora or install it to the hard drive? And the difference between these is on some computers you can actually just install a version where it's not going to save anything. As soon as you turn the computer off, it's done. It will go away. So for this purpose, we're just going to install it to the hard drive. Just going to open this up. It looks like my mouse isn't quite working for this thing yet, so I'm just going to use tab. So I'm going to tab over to install hard drive. It's going to load a bit more. I'm going to do some English. Continue. Gotta fix this guy. Okay. I just want to install to this guy. So now it's just saying it's just going to automatically do all the partitioning for you, which I always do. It's just a lot easier. So partition scheme LVM stands for Logical Volume Manager. There's some other versions of it, but I just use LVM every single time just because it's always worked for me. Saving the storage configuration. Okay, now we can actually go through and begin the installation. You can see there's some stuff here for creating passwords. I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Just an easy password to remember, just because I'm going to delete this as soon as the video is done. But this is a security class, so you should be secure in your things. It looks like I might want us to make another one. Oh, nope. We're going to create a user. I'm just going to say Gavin. Password for Gavin. Same one, just for simplicity's purposes. That'll be done. Nope, just kidding. I don't want advanced. Yeah, it looks like I had an issue with my mouse. I'll probably have to fix that once the thing finishes installing. So I'm just using the tab over every single time, but hopefully your mouse is working on yours. This install might take a little bit, but once it's done, I will bring you back up to speed. Alright, you guys, so my installation has finished. We're going to go ahead and scroll over to my Fedora machine. Wake it up, hit the space bar. Okay, so you can see after the reboot, it's saying, okay, we want to log in for Gavin. So I'm going to type in the password I set during installation. Unlock. Okay, so I already brought Firefox up just to show that we have network connectivity, but there's also another way you can tell if your network connectivity works. You can go ahead and click on the activities at the top left. Sometimes in other Linux distributions, there's also this little like 9-dot menu bar that will bring up other applications. So I can click on that if I wanted to. And then I could just start searching at the top. Terminal. Terminal is just like a little command line tool that helps you test some things. So for here, I'm going to do something called ping, a really useful command to know. You can test your network connectivity with it. I just basically am doing this to make sure the network configuration, the way I set it up in the virtual machine with VMware Fusion, is actually working. Or in other words, just to check if I can actually connect to the internet on this machine. So when you do ping, you're saying, hey, I just want to test a quick configuration from this machine to whatever IP address I specify. Or with ping, you could also do a domain as well. So if I wanted to, I could do like www.facebook.com, and you can see I'm getting replies from them as well. That's just to test that configuration. You could also just try going to a web page. So I'm just going to type hello, see what comes up on Google. Okay, so we got a Dell coming up. So this means that the configuration has a working network configuration on this virtual machine. We know that everything is up and running except for like my weird background thing that's going on. This has actually always happened with Fedora. For me, for some reason, I think it's just the distribution version on VMware. But other than the background thing that's wigging out, everything works fine. So if you guys have any more questions or anything like that on how to set up a virtual machine, you can watch the video over again and see what I've done, or you can start Googling looking for other things on there. Knowing how to use virtual machines is incredibly helpful. For a lot of classes that you have, you can use virtual machines. If you're in 220 CIT 225, 325, if you're in Security 2, you're going to use it. Not like specifically on your native machine, but you're going to be doing it on something else, vSphere, which is also run by VMware. But it's a really good skill to know how to do. So I hope that answers any questions you guys have. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and hope you understand the video. Thanks for watching.